Okay, the first step in the presidential election process are the primary elections. So before you can have the Democratic candidate take on the Republican candidate to see who's going to be the president in November, each party has to narrow down from a large field to choose their candidate. So before you have Democrat versus Republican, the Democrats all run against each other and the Republicans all run against each other. And this takes place between January and June prior to the November election. So almost a year in advance. And again, the purpose is for a party really to select who their candidate is going to be to run against the other party's candidate for the office. All right, so what these primary elections really are is that they're elections held in each of the 50 states. And we'll talk in a second how these elections differ a little bit from state to state. But the outcome of the state elections basically assign delegates. These are people that are going to be sent to your party's convention, which are usually held in July and August before that November. They're held at some sort of arena in the United States. And members of your party actually get together and they officially nominate who your candidate is going to be from your party to run for that office, run for president. So the actual state election results determine how many delegates are going to be sent to the convention to support each of the candidates. And you'll notice when you look at the conventions, you see like states listed on the floor. These are actual delegates that are sent by the states that when the official vote takes place, they vote for particular candidates from that party to be their nominee based on the state election results. Every state can sort of like set up how they want to do their own primaries, but there are different ways in which they can do this. Some states like Pennsylvania have what's called a closed primary setup. This basically means that only members of your party can vote in your party's primary. So it means if you're a Republican, you vote in the Republican primary only in that state. If you're a Democrat, you vote in the Democratic primary. You can't vote in the opposite party's primary. Also, if you're an independent, you are frozen out of the primary process. You are not eligible to participate. Those are states in the blue. States in the yellow and really states in the green have what are called an open primary setup. What this means is that you can choose one party's primary to participate in, even if it's not your party. So Democrats could vote in the Republican primary, Republicans could vote in the Democratic primary, but you can only participate in one. So if you're a Republican and you vote in the Democratic primary, you can't vote in your own party's primary, vice versa. The other thing is these states allow independents to pick which party's primary they want to vote in. So a little bit more flexibility with that. This is the actual delegate map for each of the 50 states for the Democratic Party. Each of the numbers, it's sort of like almost like an electoral college, represents the number of delegates that state will send to the Democratic Party's convention in the summer to support like the individual candidates. In the Democratic primary process, you need 1,991 total delegates to secure the nomination. And the interesting thing about the Democratic primary is that they're proportional, meaning that it's not winner take all. So in Pennsylvania, if I'm running against candidate X and I get 60% of the Democratic vote and my candidate gets 40% of the Democratic vote in that primary, I'll get 60% of the 176 delegates and my candidate will end up leaving Pennsylvania with 40% of the 176. So Democratic primaries tend to be proportional. These are the Democratic primary results from the 2020 primary cycle. Obviously, Biden was the Democratic Party's nominee with 2,627 delegates, obviously more than the 1991 that you need to actually secure the nomination. This is the Republican primary delegate map. Again, the numbers are a little bit different. The party sets it up a little bit different. The Republican primaries are typically winner take all, and the Republican candidate needs 1,276 total delegates to secure a nomination. Winner take all means that if I'm running as a Republican against candidate X in Pennsylvania, I get one more vote than my competitor. I get 88 I get all 88 delegates, right, assigned to the state. So it's not proportional like the Democratic primary. And these are the Republican primary results from the 2020 election cycle. Obviously, Trump received almost all of them. Bill Weld, a lesser known Republican contender, ended up receiving one of these delegates.